It can feel like a full-time job just trying to stay informed these days. There's just so much information coming at you from every direction.
It really is overwhelming.
That's why we're here to cut through the noise. We take a real deep dive into a range of sources, detailed research, insightful articles, and we extract the key understandings for you. Think of it as like your fast track to being genuinely in the know, maybe with a few surprising insights along the way.
Exactly. Our aim isn't to drown you in data, but to distill the essential knowledge, connect the crucial points, and ultimately help you grasp what truly matters. We're sort of your dedicated guides in this information-rich world.
And today, we've got a really fascinating area to explore with you. We're plunging into the world of branding, which is particularly relevant if you're building your own business or, even just thinking about it.
Super relevant for entrepreneurs, yeah.
We've been digging into Kellogg on branding in a hyper-connected world, and honestly, it's a treasure trove of valuable perspectives. So the mission for this deep dive is to uncover the fundamental principles that can empower your entrepreneurial success by building a brand that doesn't just exist, but really flourishes.
And we really want to make this practical for you. It's not just about abstract ideas. We want you to come away with tangible insights you can actually use.
Precisely. So we're calling this exploration Unlocking 7 Branding Desires, a curious entrepreneur's guide to hyper-connected success. Because, when you get right down to it, every thriving brand taps into these fundamental human desires.
That's a great way to frame it.
Today, we're going to unpack 7 of these core desires.
Good.
First, the desire for a strong foundation, that's brand positioning. Then the desire for meaning, which is brand purpose. Third, the desire for strategic reach, brand portfolio. Fourth, the desire to conquer, looking at competitive brand strategies.
Got it.
Fifth, the desire for connection, leveraging touch points. Sixth is the desire for understanding, measuring brand health. And finally, number 7, the desire for resilience, overcoming branding challenges.
That's a comprehensive list.
Yeah.
Covers a lot of ground.
It really does. All right, let's dive into the first one. The desire for a strong foundation, which revolves around brand positioning.
Okay.
Simply put, brand positioning is about establishing a distinctive place for your brand in the minds of the people you want to reach, your target audience. It's about clearly defining what you stand for.
Consider it establishing your brand's unique identity in the marketplace. Like, what specific space do you want to occupy in your customers' minds? What makes your offering stand out? Strong brand positioning provides those essential answers.
And having that solid positioning brings some really significant advantages. For starters, it brings clarity to everything you do. Your marketing becomes much sharper, your communication more focused.
Absolutely.
You have a clear understanding of who you're talking to and what message is actually going to resonate.
It truly serves as a central guiding principle for your entire organization. Well-defined brand position informs crucial decisions from the initial stages of product development all the way through to how you handle customer interactions. It's foundational.
Absolutely. And what's more, strong positioning is your key tool for differentiation. It highlights your unique value proposition, what sets you apart from all the other options out there. In today's often crowded markets, that distinctiveness is, invaluable.
It's how you avoid being perceived as just another, undifferentiated option. You're clearly signaling to potential customers exactly why they should choose you over everyone else.
And ultimately, it provides a robust foundation for all your strategic decisions. When you have a firm grasp of your brand's position, you can make choices that consistently support and strengthen that image.
It prevents your brand from trying to be all things to all people, which rarely works. You develop a clear filter for assessing opportunities and making necessary strategic trade-offs.
Right. Now let's flip that. What happens if you don't have a strong brand position? Well, the first thing you'll likely see is confusion among your potential customers.
Definitely.
They'll struggle to understand exactly what it is you offer. Is it this? Is it that?
And if your target audience isn't clear on your offering, they are significantly less likely to engage with your brand in a meaningful way or, develop any sense of loyalty. They just won't connect.
Precisely. You also face the very real risk of being seen as just another commodity. Without a clear differentiator, the primary basis for competition becomes price.
Right, a race to the bottom.
Which can quickly turn into an unsustainable race to the bottom.
Yeah, your ability to command a premium price just diminishes. Customers view you as interchangeable with your competitors, and the only way to secure their business becomes offering the lowest price point. It's a tough spot.
And your marketing efforts. They tend to become scattered and ineffective, kind of like trying to hit a moving target blindfolded. You end up wasting valuable resources because you're not precisely targeting the right people with the right message.
It's like casting a wide net in an empty sea, basically. Without a clear brand position, your marketing investments are far less likely to yield meaningful results, just wasted spend.
Let's make this more concrete. Think about some examples of U.S. companies that have really nailed strong brand positioning. Take Tiffany & Co., for instance. What immediately comes to mind?
Premium quality, definitely. A sense of timeless elegance, exclusivity. They've carefully cultivated an image associated with significant life events like engagements, anniversaries.
Yeah, the blue box.
Exactly, the blue box. And their pricing strongly reflects that perceived value. You're not simply purchasing jewelry. You're investing in an aspiration and the legacy.
Perfectly put. Now, contrast that with Walmart, a very different picture, wouldn't you say?
Oh, unquestionably. Value, affordability, and an extensive range of products. They have firmly established themselves as the primary destination for price-conscious shoppers. Their core brand promise centers around everyday low prices. Simple, powerful.
Right, and then you have a brand like Lululemon.
That's interesting too. A focus on wellness, promoting a balanced and mindful lifestyle, and offering premium athletic apparel. They've successfully built a strong community around their brand, connecting with customers on a much deeper level than just selling, leggings.
Yeah, it's a whole lifestyle thing. Now, what about when we see companies make missteps? Think about those like generic retailers that try to compete directly with Walmart on price.
They often struggle significantly because they lack Walmart's massive scale and operational efficiencies. And usually they haven't developed a compelling alternative, like unique products or a specialized customer experience. They kind of get stuck in a competitive no man's land.
Or consider apparel brands that offer fitness wear, maybe similar to Lululemon, but haven't cultivated that same lifestyle-focused brand connection.
They typically find it challenging to justify similar premium price points because they haven't fostered that same emotional connection or sense of community around their brand. It remains simply functional clothing, not an identity.
And what about luxury brands that maybe try to broaden their appeal too much or engage in excessive discounting?
Oh, that's risky. They run the risk of diluting their sense of exclusivity and weakening the aspirational image that initially justified their high prices. It can create significant confusion in the minds of consumers about the brand's true identity and its value proposition. Like, are they luxury or not?
So how can you, our listener, take these principles and apply them to your own business success? Well, the first critical step is to deeply understand your target audience. Who are they? What are their specific needs, pain points, aspirations?
And go beyond basic demographics here. Really delve into their psychographics, their underlying values, their lifestyles, their key motivations and aspirations. What makes them tick?
Next, you absolutely must define your unique value proposition. What is it that makes you different? What specific problem do you solve better than anyone else in the market?
Be precise and articulate. What distinct benefit do you offer that your competitors cannot? This is the core of your competitive advantage. It has to be clear.
And finally, you need to communicate your chosen position consistently, relentlessly. Every single interaction a customer has with your brand, no matter how small, should reinforce that core message.
Yeah, from the design of your website to the way your customer service team interacts with clients to all of your marketing materials, every touch point needs to tell the same clear and compelling story about your brand. No exceptions.
Let's illustrate this with a tangible example.
Oh.
Imagine a new coffee shop opening up. Instead of just saying, we serve good coffee, they strategically position themselves as a provider of premium, ethically sourced coffee, specifically for busy professionals.
Okay, niche focus.
Right. They emphasize the high quality of their beans, their commitment to ethical sourcing, and the speed and convenience they offer. Their shop design is sleek and efficient, their baristas are highly trained and quick, and their marketing consistently highlights the ethically sourced aspect and the time-saving benefits for busy people. That's strong positioning in action.
Precisely. They've clearly identified their target audience, articulated their unique value proposition, and are ensuring consistent communication of that position across all aspects of their business. That's how you do it.
All right, let's transition to our second key desire, the desire for meaning, which centers on brand purpose. This goes far beyond simply generating profit. It's about articulating the fundamental reason why your company and your brand exist in the first place.
The big why.
Connecting with consumers on a much deeper level through shared values and beliefs.
It's truly the heart and soul of your brand. What broader impact do you aspire to have on the world beyond the mere transaction of selling your product or service?
Yeah.
Adds depth.
And effectively tapping into this inherent desire for meaning can yield some incredibly powerful benefits. For one, it cultivates stronger engagement and unwavering loyalty from consumers who deeply align with your stated values.
Yeah.
They aren't just purchasing what you offer, they're actively supporting what you fundamentally believe in.
It fosters a true community, almost like a tribe of like-minded individuals who rally around your brand. These customers often become passionate advocates, actively spreading positive word of mouth and demonstrating remarkable loyalty, even during, challenging times.
It also significantly boosts motivation and cultivates a stronger sense of purpose among your employees. When your team believes in a mission that extends beyond just the bottom line, they tend to be more engaged, more passionate, and ultimately more invested in their work.
It gives their daily tasks a greater sense of significance. They see their contributions as part of something larger and more meaningful, which can lead to increased job satisfaction and, importantly, reduced employee turnover.
Furthermore, a clearly articulated and authentically lived brand purpose often translates into a more positive public image and a greater degree of trust in your brand. In today's increasingly conscious world, consumers are paying closer attention to the values and actions of the companies they support.
Authenticity is absolutely paramount here. Today's consumers are incredibly discerning, and they can quickly sniff out a brand whose stated purpose feels like just a superficial marketing tactic rather than a genuine commitment.
Okay, so while our source material emphasizes the importance of purpose, it doesn't give us like a definitive list of US companies nailing it, but we can certainly infer purpose from observing certain brands. Consider a company like Patagonia. What would you say their core purpose appears to be?
Oh, definitely a very strong and consistent focus on environmental sustainability. It's deeply ingrained in their product design, their advocacy, their messaging. It resonates profoundly with their environmentally conscious target audience. They live it.
Exactly. And what about Thomas, with their well-known one-for-one model?
Their core purpose is clearly and directly integrated into their fundamental business model. Buy a pair, they give a pair. It's a very tangible and easily understood way they actively live out their stated purpose. Very straightforward.
And a brand like Ben & Jerry's, they are quite vocal on a range of social and environmental issues.
Yeah, their brand purpose clearly extends beyond just selling ice cream. They actively use their platform to advocate for causes they believe in, demonstrably aligning their core values with their business operations and their public communications. They take stands.
Now, where do we often see companies stumble when it comes to brand purpose? Here in the U.S. A common pitfall is what's often called purpose washing.
Right. This happens when companies superficially adopt social or environmental causes without any real underlying commitment or meaningful action. Today's savvy consumers are adept at recognizing this insincerity, and it can often lead to significant negative backlash and damage the brand's reputation.
Or sometimes we see companies that just remain conspicuously silent on relevant and pressing social or environmental issues.
In today's interconnected world, that silence can be incredibly impactful, often negatively. Consumers increasingly expect brands to have a voice and take a stance on issues they care about, and staying silent can inadvertently alienate a significant part of their customer base.
And then there's the problematic issue of a clear disconnect between a company's stated purpose and its actual actions and practices.
That's a huge blow to credibility. If a company publicly claims, say, a strong commitment to environmental responsibility, but its actual operations are demonstrably harmful to the environment, it will swiftly erode the trust of its customers and the wider public. Consistency matters.
So for you, the listener, looking to build a meaningful brand, how can you effectively harness the power of purpose? The first crucial step is to genuinely identify your core why. What positive impact do you truly aspire to make in the world that extends beyond simply generating profit?
And this needs to come from an authentic place, deeply rooted in your company's core values and beliefs. It can't be something that's just manufactured or adopted as a superficial marketing tactic. It has to be real.
Once you've identified that authentic why, the next step is to seamlessly integrate that purpose into your overarching brand story and your entire brand identity. It should be a central and consistently communicated element of your messaging.
Ensure that it's abundantly clear how your brand's purpose informs every aspect of your operations, from product development and sourcing all the way through to customer interactions and after-sales support. It should permeate everything.
And perhaps most critically, you must consistently walk the talk. Your company's actions and behaviors must demonstrably align with your stated purpose. Authenticity here is absolutely non-negotiable.
Your brand's purpose needs to be far more than just eloquent words on a website or in a mission statement. It must be actively reflected in your company culture, your employee behaviors, and your day-to-day operational decisions. It has to be lived.
Consider a clothing company whose core purpose is empowering women through comfortable and sustainable fashion. This purpose would be evident in their ethical sourcing, their commitment to inclusive sizing, and marketing campaigns that celebrate women's achievements. That's purpose in tangible action.
Exactly. It's about creating a positive and reinforcing cycle where your purpose genuinely guides your business actions, and those actions, in turn, continually strengthen and validate your brand's purpose in the eyes of your customers. It becomes a virtuous loop.
Let's move on now to our third key desire, the desire for strategic reach, which brings us to the concept of a brand portfolio. Now, if your business offers multiple distinct products or services, a well-defined brand portfolio is all about how you strategically organize and manage those various brands to maximize their collective impact and, importantly, to prevent your own brands from inadvertently competing with and undermining each other. Internal competition isn't good. Think of it as expertly managing a diverse team of individual players. Each brand in your portfolio has a specific role to fulfill, and your strategic goal is to ensure they're all working cohesively and effectively together to achieve your overarching business objectives. And a thoughtfully constructed brand portfolio offers several significant advantages. For one, it enables you to effectively cater to a much wider spectrum of diverse customer segments and address a broader range of specific market needs.
You can strategically develop and position individual brands specifically tailored to appeal to distinct demographic groups, varying price sensitivities, or particular usage occasions. More targets, basically.
It also serves as a crucial mechanism for mitigating overall business risk. If one brand within your portfolio encounters unforeseen challenges or a market downturn, the performance of your other brands can help cushion the financial impact.
Right, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. You avoid the danger of relying too heavily on a single product or service.
It provides essential diversification and enhances the overall resilience of your overarching business strategy. Smart move.
Furthermore, a strategic brand portfolio can often unlock valuable synergies between your various brands, allowing for the efficient sharing of resources, tech innovations, or even distribution channels.
This can lead to significant gains in operational efficiency and valuable cost savings across your entire brand ecosystem. More bang for your buck.
Now, what are the potential downsides of neglecting a powerful brand portfolio strategy? One common issue is internal cannibalization,
Yes.
where your own brands end up competing too closely with each other, essentially stealing market share from within your own organization rather than expanding your overall reach.
It's like your own team members competing against each other instead of focusing on external competitors. Wasted effort.
You can also inadvertently dilute your valuable resources by spreading them too thinly across too many brands, ultimately weakening the individual impact and market presence of each one.
You risk becoming a generalist with limited deep expertise, ultimately being perceived as a jack of all trades, master of none. Not a strong position.
And critically, a poorly defined brand portfolio can create significant confusion for your customers if the distinct roles and unique positioning of your various brands aren't clear and easily understood.
Yeah, they might struggle to figure out which brand is actually right for their specific needs.
It can lead to decision paralysis for potential customers. If they can't readily differentiate between your offerings and understand the distinct value of each, they might ultimately just choose a competitor with a clearer brand architecture.
Makes sense. Simplicity often wins.
Now, again, our source material doesn't give detailed case studies of specific U.S. company portfolios, but we can draw on general business knowledge for examples. Think about a massive consumer goods company like Procter & Gamble.
Oh yeah, P&G. They expertly manage an extensive and diverse portfolio: Tide, Pampers, Crest, Gillette, each targeting very different needs and demographics with clearly differentiated positioning. It's a masterclass.
Or think about a major food manufacturer like General Mills.
They oversee a wide array of brands across numerous food categories: Cheerios, Yoplait, Haagen-Dazs, Nature Valley. Again, each carefully positioned to appeal to a specific target audience with a distinct brand identity and value prop.
And in the hospitality industry, a prominent example would be Marriott International.
Right. They offer a whole spectrum of hotel brands, from the super luxurious Ritz-Carlton down to the more budget-friendly Courtyard by Marriott, effectively catering to a wide range of price points and the diverse needs of different types of travelers. Something for everyone, but clearly defined.
Now, where do we often see companies stumble with managing their brand portfolios in the US? One common error is launching new brands whose positioning significantly overlaps with existing brands in their portfolio.
That directly leads to the internal cannibalization we talked about. The new brand just eats into the old brand's share without actually growing the company's overall market footprint. Self-defeat.
Another frequent misstep is engaging in excessive brand proliferation without clear differentiation between the offerings. Too many variations, maybe.
Exactly. Introducing a multitude of new variations, sub-brands, or line extensions without a strong strategic rationale can significantly dilute the equity of the core brand and just lead to confusion and overwhelm among consumers. Like,
Yeah.
which version do I even choose?
And sometimes we see companies neglecting the smaller or less prominent brands within their portfolio.
They might focus almost all their resources and attention on their flagship brands, inadvertently missing out on potentially significant growth opportunities that their smaller, more niche-focused offerings could provide with adequate investment and strategic focus. Hidden gems get ignored.
So for you as an entrepreneur, how can you build a smart strategic brand portfolio? First, clearly define the distinct role each brand is intended to play. Who's the target audience? What unique value does each offer?
Ensure there's a well-defined target audience and a compelling, easily understood value proposition for every single brand in your portfolio. No overlap, no confusion.
Next, allocate your available resources strategically. Prioritize investment in brands showing the greatest potential for growth, and that align best with your overall business goals.
Avoid the temptation to spread resources too thinly. Focus your investments where they're most likely to generate the greatest impact and returns. Be selective.
And finally, it's essential to regularly monitor the performance of each brand and remain vigilant for any signs of potential cannibalization. Are they competing too closely? Is each brand contributing positively?
Be prepared to make tough but necessary decisions about brands that are consistently underperforming or no longer strategically fit with your evolving business objectives. Pruning is sometimes necessary.
Consider a food and beverage company example. They might strategically manage a premium organic brand for health-conscious folks, a mainstream value brand for everyday shoppers, and maybe a healthy snack brand targeting busy parents.
Right, each serving a distinct consumer need and occupying a specific price point.
And they would actively manage each brand with a clear understanding of its role within the broader portfolio, ensuring they complement each other rather than engaging in unnecessary internal competition.
That's smart portfolio management. They work together, not against each other.
Okay, let's shift focus to our fourth key desire, the desire to conquer, which delves into competitive brand strategies. This is where you make deliberate choices about how you'll enter the market, how you'll position yourself relative to competitors, and, crucially, how you'll differentiate.
It's about understanding the competitive landscape and making informed decisions about your battleground. Are you going to be a market pioneer, a fast follower, or a focused late mover? And critically, what specific points of differentiation will you use to stand out?
And formulating an effective competitive strategy offers significant advantages. If you choose to be a pioneer, you have the chance to establish strong initial brand preference and capture a substantial market share early on.
You gain the advantage of often defining the category itself and cultivating loyalty before significant competitors even show up. First mover advantage can be powerful.
If your strategy is to be a fast follower, you benefit from observing and learning from the inevitable mistakes pioneers make. You can enter with an often improved offering, potentially with less initial risk.
You can effectively capitalize on the market education and initial adoption efforts the pioneers already undertook. Let them blaze the trail, then you improve on it.
And even if you enter as a late mover, you can still achieve success by strategically targeting specific underserved niches that larger established players may have overlooked or ignored.
You can carve out a profitable space by hyper-focusing on meeting the very specific unmet needs of a particular customer segment. Find the gaps.
Now, what are the pitfalls of not having effective competitive strategies? Well, you might miss valuable market opportunities by failing to spot emerging trends or capitalize on competitor weaknesses.
You can be easily caught off guard by market shifts or the entry of innovative new competitors if you're not paying attention.
Your brand can become increasingly vulnerable to competitive pressures because you lack a clear, compelling advantage. You essentially become just another option.
It becomes significantly harder to defend your market share when you lack a strong, easily articulated differentiator. You're just there.
And your brand can ultimately stagnate by failing to continuously adapt to the ever-changing competitive landscape. The market is dynamic. Your strategy needs to be too.
You run the real risk of becoming increasingly irrelevant if you don't consistently innovate and proactively adjust your strategies, adapt or fade away.
Again, while the source doesn't explicitly name companies and their entry strategies, we can infer them. Think about Tesla in the EV market.
Clearly a pioneer strategy. They established a powerful brand and achieved early dominance in a completely new product category. They defined it.
And then we have a company like Samsung in the smartphone market.
They operated more as a strategic fast follower to Apple's iPhone success.
Yeah.
They observed, learned, and then rapidly innovated and differentiated effectively using the Android platform. Very successful follow.
And in the diverse food and beverage sector, we constantly see smaller, specialized brands emerge.
These are often examples of late mover strategies. They focus on very specific niches, gluten-free, keto, unique flavor combinations, targeting underserved segments within the broader market.
Now, where do we often see companies falter with their competitive strategies in the U.S.? One issue is pioneers failing to effectively defend their initial lead.
They might get complacent or fail to sustain innovation, allowing fast followers to not only catch up, but ultimately surpass them. Resting on laurels is dangerous.
And fast followers sometimes make the mistake of merely copying pioneers without adding significant value.
They fail to create a persuasive reason for customers to switch from the established pioneer brand. E2 isn't a strategy.
And late movers can struggle if they enter already saturated markets without a genuinely unique angle.
They often just get lost in the noise because they don't offer anything distinctly better or different from what's already available. No compelling reason to choose them.
So how can you, as a business leader, develop a winning competitive strategy? First, conduct a thorough analysis of the competitive landscape. Understand rival strengths, weaknesses, strategies, positioning.
Do your homework diligently. Know your competitors intimately, and equally important, have a clear, realistic understanding of your own brand's capabilities and limitations. Self-awareness is key.
Then, based on your resources and identified opportunities, consciously choose your competitive approach. Pioneer, fast follower, or niche-focused late mover.
Be pragmatic and realistic about your brand's strengths and weaknesses. Select a path that genuinely aligns with those capabilities and the market opportunities. Don't try to be something you're not.
And the absolutely critical element, develop a clear, compelling, and effectively communicated point of differentiation. What makes your brand the superior choice? Why should customers choose you?
This is the core of your competitive advantage. Ensure it's clear, easily understood, compelling, and deeply resonates with the specific needs and desires of your intended audience. It has to matter to them.
Imagine a new streaming service entering a crowded market. Instead of competing head-on with the giants, they might enter as a late mover, focusing exclusively on, say, classic horror films. They offer a unique value to a defined niche audience.
They've expertly identified an underserved segment and are tailoring their content and experience precisely to that audience's needs and preferences. Smart niche play.
Let's move to our fifth desire, the desire for connection, focusing on leveraging customer touchpoints. In today's hyper-connected world, every single interaction a customer has with your brand shapes their perception. Every single one.
Yeah, think of each touchpoint: ads, website visits, customer service calls, using the product as an opportunity to either strengthen or weaken your brand's perception. They all add up.
And when you strategically leverage these touchpoints, you cultivate a consistent, positive brand experience. Every interaction reinforces your core message and builds a stronger connection.
It creates a seamless journey for the customer, fostering greater trust, familiarity, and positive association with your brand at every stage.
Consistently positive experiences build invaluable trust and loyalty. People stick with brands that reliably provide good experiences.
It turns satisfied customers into enthusiastic brand advocates who are more likely to recommend you to others. Word of mouth is powerful.
And effectively managed touchpoints consistently reinforce the desired brand image and associations you're trying to build. Everything aligns to tell the same compelling story.
It builds a cohesive, memorable, and more impactful brand presence in the crowded marketplace and in customers' minds. Cuts through the noise.
Now, what are the consequences of failing to leverage touchpoints? One issue is inconsistent messaging. Maybe the website says one thing, social media says another.
That creates a fragmented and disjointed experience. It makes it harder for customers to get a clear understanding of what your brand truly stands for. It breeds confusion.
Negative experiences at any single touchpoint can severely damage trust and lead to churn. One bad interaction can undo lots of good work.
Especially today, with online reviews and social media. Negative experiences spread incredibly rapidly and can have a disproportionately damaging impact on your reputation.
And poor management of touchpoints ultimately dilutes your overall brand value and impact. If interactions are consistently subpar or inconsistent, the overall brand perception suffers.
It's like having a great product in terrible packaging. The overall impact is diminished. The whole experience matters.
Let's consider some U.S. companies that seem to excel at managing touchpoints. Apple is a prime example, right?
Absolutely. They deliver a remarkably unified experience across everything: product design, retail stores, software interface, online services. It's all sleek, intuitive, and consistent. Very Apple.
How about Starbucks?
They've meticulously cultivated a consistent in-store experience, the ambiance, the coffee quality, barista interactions, reinforcing their brand as that familiar third place. You know what to expect.
And the giant, Amazon.
Despite their vast digital ecosystem, the customer journey remains remarkably seamless and efficient. Browsing, purchasing, shipping, support. They've prioritized convenience and efficiency across all their online touchpoints. It just works.
Now, where do competitors often miss the mark with touchpoints in the U.S.? Inconsistencies between online and offline experiences are a frequent frustration.
Yeah, a clunky website that doesn't match the in-store vibe, or vice versa. It creates friction and hurts satisfaction.
Or a company might have a great product but undermine it with terrible customer service.
That single negative touchpoint, especially when someone needs help, can overshadow all the positives and really damage the brand's reputation. It leaves a lasting bad taste.
And in today's world, ignoring customer interactions on social media can be a huge blunder.
Failing to respond promptly and thoughtfully to inquiries, feedback, or complaints on social media can quickly lead to negative word of mouth and make the brand seem like it just doesn't care. Visibility is high there.
So how can you, as a business leader, ensure you're effectively leveraging all your brand's touch points? First, meticulously map out your entire customer journey. Identify every single interaction point, from awareness to post-purchase.
Think broadly. It's not just the obvious stuff like the website or store. It includes packaging, emails, how the phone is answered, invoices, everything.
Once you've identified them, ensure absolute consistency in messaging, visual design, and service standards across every single one. Everything should feel like it comes from the same unified brand.
This needs careful planning, strong internal communication, and coordination across all departments that interact with customers. Everyone needs to be on board.
And finally, maintain a relentless focus on creating consistently positive and, whenever possible, truly exceptional experiences at every touch point. Think about how you can exceed expectations.
Go the extra mile. Look for opportunities to surprise and delight customers, turning routine interactions into memorable, positive brand-building moments. Make it special.
Imagine a hotel chain that really gets this. They ensure a consistently positive experience, from online booking to lobby check-in, room cleanliness, staff friendliness. Every touchpoint reinforces their promise of comfort and hospitality.
It's about crafting a holistic, consistently positive experience that builds strong, lasting relationships with your customers. That's the goal.
Okay, let's move to desire number 6. The desire for understanding, which brings us to measuring brand health. To effectively manage and grow your brand, you absolutely need to understand its current standing, how it's perceived, and if your branding efforts are actually working.
You can't improve what you don't measure. Tracking key indicators and gathering consumer insights are essential for understanding your brand's overall health and trajectory. You need the data.
And regularly measuring brand health offers significant benefits. It allows you to pinpoint your brand strengths, what's resonating, and identify weaknesses or areas needing improvement.
It gives you a clear, data-driven picture of what's working and what's not, letting you focus your efforts and resources where they'll have the greatest positive impact. Smart allocation.
It also enables you to track the effectiveness of your branding initiatives over time. Are your marketing campaigns actually moving the needle on awareness or perception? Is your image improving?
It provides invaluable feedback on your strategic decisions and allows you to make necessary course corrections in a timely, informed manner. Adjust as you go.
And ultimately, measuring brand health provides critical, data-driven insights to inform future strategic decisions. You're not operating on gut feeling anymore. You're making choices grounded in evidence.
It takes much of the guesswork out of branding and empowers you to make more confident, strategic, and ultimately more effective decisions about your brand's future. Data beats intuition often.
Now, what are the consequences of neglecting to measure brand health? Well, you're essentially operating in the dark. You lack a clear understanding of how your brand is truly perceived or if your efforts are having any impact.
You're like flying a plane without instruments, making critical decisions based on feelings rather than reliable data. Very risky.
You also run the risk of completely missing early warning signs of brand decline until it's too late to effectively address the issues. Your brand could be losing relevance without you even realizing it.
By the time you finally notice a significant drop in sales or customer acquisition, the underlying brand health issues might be deeply entrenched and much harder and costlier to fix. Early detection is better.
And you could be allocating resources inefficiently, maybe over-investing in areas not driving growth, or conversely, neglecting critical areas that desperately need attention.
You might be pouring money into ineffective strategies without even realizing it, leading to a significant waste of time and money. Ouch.
Now, our source material highlights some key strategies U.S. companies use to measure brand health. Customer surveys and feedback mechanisms are common.
This direct approach allows companies to gauge perceptions, satisfaction levels, and brand recall among their target audience. Ask them directly.
Digital analytics are also essential now for tracking online engagement, website traffic, and social media sentiment around the brand.
This rich source of real-time data provides invaluable insights into how your brand is being discussed, interacted with, and perceived online. Lots of clues there.
And for larger brands, there are formal brand valuation studies, like those from Forbes, assessing the financial strength and market value of prominent brands.
While these are typically for major corporations, they underscore the importance of understanding the direct financial implications of brand health and perception. Brand equity has real value.
Now, where do companies in the U.S. often fall short in measuring brand health? One common error is relying almost exclusively on sales data.
While sales figures are important, they don't tell the whole story of brand health. You could have strong short-term sales while underlying brand perception and loyalty are declining. It's a lagging indicator.
Another frequent misstep is failing to actively solicit, listen to, and analyze customer feedback, missing out on valuable insights and opportunities for improvement.
Actively engaging with customers and paying attention to both positive and negative feedback is crucial for understanding their evolving needs, preferences, and perceptions. Listen to the voice of the customer.
And finally, some companies neglect to consistently track competitor performance and activities, making it hard to understand their own brand's relative standing in the marketplace.
Knowing how you stack up against key rivals is essential for identifying competitive advantages, disadvantages, and making informed strategic adjustments. Context matters.
So for you, the listener, how can you start measuring your brand's health effectively? First, define the key metrics most relevant to your business goals. What do you want to track? Awareness, satisfaction, loyalty?
Choose specific metrics that directly align with your objectives and that you can realistically and consistently measure over time. Keep it manageable but meaningful.
Next, implement reliable mechanisms for tracking these metrics. This might involve regular surveys, social media monitoring, analyzing website data, or gathering feedback from customer-facing teams.
Use a mix of quantitative data, numbers, and qualitative insights, opinions, feedback, to get a well-rounded picture of your brand's health. Both are valuable.
And perhaps most critically, consistently analyze the data you collect and actively use those insights to inform your ongoing branding strategies. What is the data telling you? What changes do you need to make?
Don't just collect data for its own sake. Transform insights into concrete, actionable steps that will demonstrably improve your brand's health, market position, and customer relationships. Make it useful.
Imagine a software company tracking its brand health. They might monitor social media mentions and sentiment, conduct post-update satisfaction surveys, and track website traffic to pricing pages to gauge interest. That's active measurement.
It's all about keeping a constant finger on the pulse of your brand's performance and perception, and strategically leveraging data to make informed, impactful decisions. Stay informed.
Finally, we arrive at our seventh key desire, the desire for resilience, which centers on overcoming the inevitable challenges in building and maintaining a strong brand, particularly around cash flow, consistency, and cutting through clutter.
Building a lasting brand is rarely smooth sailing. There will be obstacles, and the ability to navigate and overcome these challenges is essential for long-term success and sustainability. You got to be tough.
And successfully navigating these challenges yields lasting rewards.
Yeah.
It leads to more sustainable growth by balancing short-term financial needs with crucial long-term brand-building investments.
You're essentially building a brand with the strength and adaptability to weather economic fluctuations and maintain its value and perception over time. Built to last.
It also results in stronger brand equity through consistent messaging and positive experiences, building a more robust, recognizable, and valuable asset.
Consistent experiences in messaging foster deeper trust and familiarity, strengthening the emotional connection your audience has with your brand.
And ultimately, it increases your brand's visibility by effectively breaking through the information overload, capturing the attention of your target audience amidst competing messages.
In today's noisy marketplace, resilience in your messaging and marketing is crucial for ensuring your voice is heard and your brand resonates. Stand out or get lost.
Now, what are the consequences of failing to overcome these challenges? One common issue is falling into a branding doom loop, where short-term financial pressures lead to prioritizing immediate results at the expense of long-term brand building.
This short-sighted approach can lead to a gradual but significant decline in brand health and ultimately hurt the bottom line in the long run. Penny-wise, pound foolish.
You can also damage trust and loyalty through inconsistent messaging or experiences. Consumers expect consistency.
Inconsistency breeds confusion and can lead customers to question your brand's reliability and trustworthiness. It feels flaky.
And you run the real risk of being overlooked if you fail to develop strategies to break through the overwhelming information overload. Your message just gets lost in the noise.
In today's crowded market, standing out requires creativity, innovation, and a resilient, persistent approach to marketing and communication. Keep pushing.
Now, our source material highlights strategies successful U.S. companies use to overcome these challenges. We often see companies balancing short-term financial needs with essential long-term brand investment.
Successful, enduring companies understand the critical importance of continuing to invest in their brand, even during tough economic times, recognizing the significant long-term value a strong brand provides. It's an investment, not just an expense.
Ensuring strong organizational alignment and fostering a positive brand-centric internal culture are also crucial for consistently embodying the brand promise in every interaction.
When your employees understand and genuinely live the brand's values and promises, it translates directly into more consistent, positive experiences for your customers. It starts from within.
And finally, employing creative and targeted marketing is key to breaking through clutter and forging meaningful emotional connections with your target audience.
You need to continuously seek innovative and engaging ways to tell your unique brand story and authentically resonate with the specific needs, desires, and aspirations of your target market. Be interesting.
Now, where do companies often stumble when trying to overcome these challenges in the U.S.? One common misstep is prematurely cutting brand-building budgets under financial pressure.
This exemplifies the very branding doom loop we discussed. Short-term savings at the cost of long-term brand health and sustainability. Bad trade-off.
Another frequent error is a lack of effective internal communication and training about the brand's values and promises, leading to inconsistent customer experiences.
If employees don't clearly understand the brand values and how to deliver on the promise, it becomes apparent to customers and negatively impacts perception. The team needs to get it.
And unfortunately, some companies keep relying on outdated marketing tactics and fail to adapt to the evolving digital landscape, making it harder to cut through the clutter.
You need to stay agile, embrace new channels, and continuously refine your strategies to stay relevant and connect with customers in the modern age. Don't get stuck in the past.
So, for you, the listener, looking to build a resilient brand, what steps can you take? First, actively advocate for the long-term value of brand building within your organization. Articulate why it's a crucial strategic investment.
Educate stakeholders and decision-makers on the importance of strong brand health for sustainable long-term success and profitability. Make the business case.
Next, actively foster a strong, pervasive brand-centric culture. Ensure every employee understands and embodies the brand's values and promises. Make it part of the company DNA.
This requires clear communication, ongoing training, and unwavering commitment from leadership, top down and bottom up.
And finally, embrace creativity, experimentation, and innovation in your marketing. Continuously seek new and engaging ways to connect with your audience and stand out from the noise.
Don't be afraid to try new approaches. Explore emerging channels and refine your strategies to effectively reach and resonate with your customers. Keep learning. Keep trying.
Imagine a startup facing early cash constraints. They might creatively leverage social media and content marketing lower-cost options to build awareness and engagement while consistently communicating their core values to cut through the clutter. That's resilience in action.
It's about finding resourceful, innovative, and cost-effective ways to build and maintain your brand's momentum and visibility, even when facing challenges. Be smart, be scrappy.
And that, my friends, brings us towards the end of our deep dive into these 7 fundamental desires for brand success in today's hyper-connected world.
Wow, we covered a lot.
We really did. We journeyed through positioning, purpose, portfolio, competitive strategies, touch points, measurement, and resilience.
These aren't just, theoretical concepts. They are practical, actionable principles that, when understood and applied, can make a truly significant difference in your brand's success and longevity.
So we strongly encourage you, our ambitious entrepreneurs, innovative leaders, strategic thinkers tuning in, to really take these core principles to heart. Consider how you can apply them to build a powerful, enduring brand that not only captures attention but deeply resonates with your audience's values.
And always remember, building a strong brand is an ongoing journey, not a one-time destination. It requires consistent effort, continuous learning, and a willingness to adapt to the ever-evolving marketplace. It never really stops.
Right. And on that insightful note, here's a final thought for you to consider further. With the rapid rise of AI across customer interaction points, how might that impact the need for maintaining consistent brand experiences?
Ooh, interesting question.
And as consumer values continue to shift quickly, how will that necessitate a more fluid, adaptable, maybe even co-created approach to defining and living your brand's purpose? Some food for thought as you continue your brand building endeavors.
Indeed. Fascinating questions to contemplate as you navigate the constantly shifting landscape of modern branding. The future is definitely dynamic.
Thank you so much for taking this deep dive with us into the compelling and crucial world of branding.
We sincerely hope you found these insights both valuable and readily applicable to your own brand building journey.
Until our next deep dive together. It can feel like a full-time job just trying to stay informed these days. There's just so much information coming at you from every direction.
It really is overwhelming.
That's why we're here to cut through the noise. We take a real deep dive into a range of sources, detailed research, insightful articles, and we extract the key understandings for you. Think of it as like your fast track to being genuinely in the know, maybe with a few surprising insights along the way.
Exactly. Our aim isn't to drown you in data, but to distill the essential knowledge, connect the crucial points, and ultimately help you grasp what truly matters. We're sort of your dedicated guides in this information-rich world.
And today, we've got a really fascinating area to explore with you. We're plunging into the world of branding, which is particularly relevant if you're building your own business or, even just thinking about it.
Super relevant for entrepreneurs, yeah.
We've been digging into Kellogg on branding in a hyper-connected world, and honestly, it's a treasure trove of valuable perspectives. So the mission for this deep dive is to uncover the fundamental principles that can empower your entrepreneurial success by building a brand that doesn't just exist, but really flourishes.
And we really want to make this practical for you. It's not just about abstract ideas. We want you to come away with tangible insights you can actually use.
Precisely. So we're calling this exploration, Unlocking 7 Branding Desires, a curious entrepreneur's guide to hyper-connected success. Because, when you get right down to it, every thriving brand taps into these fundamental human desires.
That's a great way to frame it.
Today, we're going to unpack 7 of these core desires.
Okay.
First, the desire for a strong foundation.